Hey guys, welcome back. So just a recap for those that have been following along. We want to let you know how we made out with the chickens in the front coop. It's okay, Jack. Since we penned them up inside the enclosed chicken wire coop, we haven't lost any more chickens. So it's been about a week, and we assume that we are probably right with the thought that it was a bird of prey, because if it wasn't any kind of land animal, they should still be able to get into this coop by digging under it or something like that. So one more recap. The trailer, for anybody that was curious, held 80 bales of hay, 80 square bales. So we're hoping that will hold us over the winter, keep the pigs and the goats happy. But today, we want to talk about the 6 animals that you can have on a small homestead. So as you guys know, we have 0.93 acres, so basically just shy of an acre here, and we've tried to show you, we try to make the most of it by, we haven't got into the gardening this year because it was like so many people with the drought we had, and it just didn't go well, so we were quite disappointed. I guess we could have did a video saying about how much we failed.
Yeah, that wasn't too appealing.
Yeah, you know, nobody likes to kick themselves when they're down. So we do have a large garden here, but it just wasn't worth talking about. So we're going to show you the 6 animals. We're going to start with the largest that we have here. Sometimes that paved road seems closer than it actually is, because it seems like whenever we go to record a video, something loud goes by. We're going to start with the largest animal, and then we're going to scale it down to our smallest animal. So that as we get smaller with the animals, so is the space a person really needs. So if you're urban, you could definitely do at least probably at least 3 of the animals out of the 6 that we have here. And we're not counting the dogs. We all know dogs play a valuable role on the homestead. Ours do as well. We have 3 dogs here, as you guys, well, those of you that follow along would already know that. So we're gonna start taking you around.
Yeah, so food security is a huge topic these days, and prices are outrageous. So I know people are more and more interested in being self-sufficient. So yeah, this applies to anyone who's interested in that, and all the way down to an apartment building. If you live in an apartment building, there is something you can do for your own food security. Absolutely.
It just, every time you turn around, something's more expensive, including feed, guys. Let's be realistic. Feed's going up as well, but you still come ahead by trying to be self-sufficient. And you know what you're eating. That's the other part, right? So the things you buy in the stores, we all know that they're either genetically modified in some cases to grow faster, or they're force-fed, etc. The list can go on and on, but what you can do on your own property or what you can grow yourself definitely has got to be healthier than what you buy in the store.
Mm-hmm. And you'll be surprised at what you can do yourself.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So we'll start with what we consider my animal here in the homestead, is the KuneKune pigs. So they are our largest animal, even though they at most probably get 200-300 pounds. The Kunees we've talked about in previous videos. They're really cool. They're a pasture pig. They have litters of about half a dozen piglets. They're ready to butcher in year and a half, full grown by 3 or 4 years. They're not super vocal, but as you can hear, they are a little vocal. So we are hoping that they will breed, because we want to raise them for meat as well as have a source of income, because they are expensive to buy. So if we can get these guys to develop some kind of relationship here. The only issue we've really had is we have 2 boars and one gilt, and the boars get a little competitive and they actually kind of work against each other. So I think in the spring, if we still haven't had any luck, we're going to separate them. And having said that, let's also talk briefly about how we separate them. We do use electric netting. We use electric netting for all the larger animals here. Highly recommend it, because you can move it. If you don't have a lot of space like we don't, at least it gives you the option to move things around the yard so you're not destroying one area. We may move these guys yet. This year we've kept them in this spot the last few months that we've had them. Mostly because this is the one spot we can give them a lot of shade, which works out really well for us. So anyway, we'll do the countdown. This is number 6. This is our largest animal we have. And, oh yeah, I love bacon.
All right, our number 5 animal is goats. We have Nigerian Dwarf Goats. It's best for our small space. We used to have full-sized goats, but they are escape artists, and these guys are kept in well with the electric fence. So Nigerian Dwarf Goats are actually a dairy goat. Among goats, they have the highest butter fat, 6 to 10%, making it a rich, creamy milk, as well as good for things like cheese. So for their size, they actually produce quite a bit of milk. They can get up to 2 quarts per day. Another thing about Nigerian dwarf goats is they're able to be bred in any season, whereas most goats are bred in the fall. Their gestational period's about 150 days, so they can kid twice a year, I believe.
All right, guys, we'll continue the countdown. We're at number 4. Already a much smaller animal. We'll talk about the ducks. So we raise ducks for eggs and for meat. They're not a purebred duck. They're a bit of a mix between, I believe, Peking and, couldn't even tell you. One's an Indian runner. They're a mixture. We're not really too concerned as long as they give us what we require here. So ducks are, again, they grow quickly. If you hatch ducks within 12 weeks, you could potentially be harvesting them. Incubate them is only about 28 days. Quick turnover, easy way to keep yourself fed. Ducks can be a little bit messy though. They do like to dig up in the grubs and things like that. If you can let them free range, if you have the space, they will pretty much take care of themselves, but you do have to keep water around for them. They do need water for hygiene, like, to keep themselves healthy, and to keep them happy. They need it to eat. That's the other part. If you're feeding them grain or anything like that, you'll find that they'll get a mouthful of food, but right after that, they're running for a mouthful of water. They have to have something to wash it down. But again, number 4, highly recommend ducks. Already on number 3, chickens. Everybody can have well, not everybody can have chickens. I do understand that, but check with your bylaws. If you're in a town, you may still be allowed 3 or 4 hens. A lot of times you're just not allowed to have roosters. And hey, if they want you to have chickens, try ducks. Most people don't realize ducks lay it almost as well as chickens. Duck will give you almost an egg almost every day if you get a nice laying duck or a dual purpose duck. They're good that way. So chickens, we don't normally like to keep ours in here, but as we talked about earlier, we had some bird of prey, we believe a bird of prey taking them, so we've kind of cooped them up here. We're trying to get more into the dual purpose breed, so you'll see that we have the barred rock here, which are a good laying hen, but they're also a good meat bird. Everything else in here that's not a barred rock, it's not that black and gray checkered or black and white checkered. Everything else in there is actually a olive egger. They lay green eggs. They are made by hatching the eggs from a brown laying hen or a blue laying hen that has been. We gotta thin the flock here a bit. That is so. If you take a brown egg layer with a blue egg laying gene rooster, you'll end up with an olive egger. But we have a video that explains all that Cindy did, so if you get time, check that out. It's actually very cool. But we'll also take you over to our other coop, which is where we have our older laying hens, which is where these guys are eventually going to go over to for the winter. We have 4 roosters in here right now, so it's too many for the space. We realize that, so we do need to harvest soon. Okay, so now behind me here, you'll see where we have our older laying hens, which are Isa Browns. These guys, you're not going to get much meat off them. They are pretty much a laying hen. You could use them for soup, I suppose, when their life cycle's over, but they'll give you eggs for a few years. The first year or two is the best, of course, but it does the trick. Now, they recommend, I mean, if you don't have much space, I believe it's 6 chickens per nest for laying eggs. So if you have 4 chickens in town, you just need a small coop, just big enough. I believe it's like a 3-foot space per chicken for them to stay happy. So I highly recommend, if you got the space, to try putting them in your yard or wherever you can fit them. Obviously not likely an apartment building, but if you have any kind of yard, you could probably have chickens. So we're getting into the animals now that even if you live urban, you can probably raise them. So the next one Cindy talks about, you should definitely be able to have in town.
All right, so we've got number 2, meat rabbits. These are New Zealand California cross, which is the predominant breed for meat rabbits. Even if you are in town with a small space, if you are in an apartment building, you could even do this. They take about 28 to 31 days gestation period, and then by 12 weeks they are ready to be harvested at a good size. These guys are enjoying the grass out here, but we will take you inside the garage just to show you the amount of space that's required. They really don't need any more than the cage size, so really you could do this in a very small space. This is about a 3 by 2 foot cage, and this is a rabbit cage. This is what's meant for them. And it is enough to breed rabbits. Sure, they like to get outside once in a while, but technically, if you're in an apartment building, you could do this.
All right, guys, number 1, the one animal you should be able to have, it doesn't matter where you live, unless you have a really angry roommate, apartment building, city center, it doesn't matter. A quail is a dual purpose. It will provide you meat, it will provide you eggs. If you get into quail, you incubate the eggs, 17, 20 days, you have more quail. A cage like this, very small footprint. Each cage holds 5 quail. So I believe this particular cage will hold 45 quail. That's a lot of birds in a small space. If you're raising them for eggs, they'll give you, same as a chicken, egg every day or 2. If you're going to have it for breakfast, you need about 3 quail eggs to the equivalent of the size of a chicken egg. Quail eggs are also very healthy. If you're going to cook them, I should say raise them for meat, they recommend 1 to 2 quail per person for a meal. So again, that's going to depend on your family and how much meat you eat, etc., etc. But this is one animal that anybody can have and be self-sufficient. Okay, so I should also mention, if you're raising quail, 7 weeks. Within 7 weeks, they usually start laying. By 12 weeks, they're ready to harvest if you're going to put them in the freezer. So these are fast growing. I mean, when you say you need 1 to 2 quail per person or 3 eggs per the equivalent of 1 chicken egg, sounds like a lot. But this is a very easy animal to exponentially grow and quickly. So it will replenish itself efficiently. So definitely recommend that. The only downside, you get a lot of manure. Just saying. All right, guys. So that about sums it up. So we have shown you the 6 animals that we think or recommend for a small homestead. We are very open to your input. Please leave your comments what you're doing, if you're doing something different, or what you would recommend that you think would actually be a better fit than what we've already got here.
Yeah, so make your space work for you, no matter where you live. There are animals you can have to raise for meat production. Food security is important. Make it work for you.
And if you can't have animals, do your best to have some kind of garden, whether it's potted on your balcony, anything to be a little more self-sufficient.
Yeah, just be creative. You'll be amazed at what you can accomplish.
Thanks for following along, guys. Please share our video with your friends if you don't mind. Whatever you are comfortable doing or are willing to help us out.
Yeah, please like, subscribe, comment. As always, we love to hear from you.
Absolutely. Thanks. What was that?
All right, our animal at number 5. You're every time I'm talking, you're back there going like. I don't know when you're starting.